E3 gets going on Saturday, June the 9th, but in the week before that, we've had already loads of news and trailers and announcements. Isn't that right, Gareth Evans?
Absolutely, Mike.
There's a lot of stuff been happening this week in the build-up to E3, enough to do a video about even before the actual event itself has taken place. I guess some developers just want to get in early, don't they?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and it's hard to keep track on all the announcements and stuff in E3 anyway, so the fact that it's hard to keep track on games before E3, we thought we'd make this video and just like make sure you're up to date before E3 even bloody starts.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of exciting stuff already as well, to be fair, so let's kick off straight away with Avalanche Studios, who they're actually working on Rage 2, and that was the last big game that they've been involved in the headlines with, I guess, but now, they're best known for making the Just Cause series and Mad Max. Well, now they're doing their own game, Generation Zero, which is a self-published title. It's a first-person shooter, open-world sandbox game, strong, persistent elements, co-op for up to 3 people. Interesting setting. It's set in 1980s Sweden, where robots have kind of taken control. In an announcement, the game director Emil Kraftling described Generation Zero as a guerrilla action game. It looks decent, doesn't it?
The fact that he used a guerrilla action game, and it's Generation Zero, and there are big monsters, mechanical monsters. There's a few, connect a few dots there. Horizon Zero Dawn, guerrilla games, robot dinosaurs.
Quite artistically done, I got to say as well.
I mean, it was very subtle, but it don't get anything past me. It looks like a nice game. It looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This time you're first person, it's guns. There's a lot to look forward to.
The trailer's quite nice. I mean, in terms of the music anyway, I was a big fan of the music of the trailer, and I do like a good robot dinosaur animal thing. So that looks good, and the first person perspective, it looks nice. It looks pretty polished when it looks at first person. I wasn't 100% sure on the character models, but it's early days, I guess.
Yeah. I think the most exciting part for me is that it is a single player game, but you can opt in for co-op. It's not an MMO, a big multiplayer game, so I'm definitely interested.
So this is actually Avalanche's first self-published game. Like I said, there's actually no outside involvement there, so that should be interesting in terms of scope and how much money they can put into it, because obviously there's no big publisher bankrolling it or anything like that, and they're having to market it themselves and put these trailers together themselves. But it's definitely one to keep an eye on if you're interested in that kind of genre. This is what Kraftling said, quote, "We are calling all the shots, but we are also taking all the risks." So it has its pros, but it has its cons going self-published. So Generation Zero is due to launch in 2019 on PC, PS4 and Xbox One. However, that is not the end from Avalanche. There's a lot. They're busy. Like I already said, they're already working on Rage 2. We know that. That's like a co-development. They're not doing that game themselves. Yep. They're working with another studio. But they're also seem to be working on Just Cause 4. Now, Just Cause 4 was leaked on Steam. Advert that appeared on Steam showing a pre-order art for Just Cause 4. It was first spotted by Reddit user McKelvey, who posted what he saw to our games, or what they saw to our games. The ad is no longer available. Obviously, it would have been taken down, but it's been screen capped and shared around pretty much everywhere. No details beyond the artwork are known, but it looks like the series protagonist Rico Rodriguez will be returning. I was pretty surprised to see this, I've got to say, because like I said, they're busy. They're very busy people at the moment. This is 3 games that they're involved with.
That is a lot of games for one studio. Having done a little bit of research, there's like 330 plus employees.
Decent sized studio.
So it is a big studio. We don't know exactly how many of those employees are working on Rage 2 because they are co-producing that. I mean, I guess there's enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
seems
not
like they have the capacity.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of throwing thousands of people at a game like Ubisoft and churning them out year on year.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the results. I'm not a fan of Assassin's Creed games myself. So I will have to agree with you there. I don't think necessarily having 1,000 people involved makes for a better game.
I'm pretty sure 100 or just over 100 people is enough to make a game. And
the kind of thing that you're talking about here with Generation Zero, it looks like it's not going to be like an Assassin's Creed scale thing in terms of marketing and how much money it's going to make. It looks like humble in terms of whatever, but it looks creative and fun all the same. Which
an independent, like a notch below AAA.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, that's it. Because they're self-published. That's exactly right. So that's Just Cause 4, right? So that would be an interesting place to bring up this tweet from. Nebellion,
who's
kind of industry insider, I guess. It's really in relation to the Walmart leak, which cast your minds back a few weeks, I guess, when Walmart just had store listings for loads of games that didn't exist yet. And then there were headlines from us included saying, Walmart has basically just leaked E3. And then there were people at the time saying, oh, maybe not, maybe this is just hypothetical, maybe they're placeholders, maybe they're guessing. Nebellion has kind of crossed off all of the games on that list that have been confirmed. And oh my God, like almost
majority of
them. Well, the vast majority, have already been confirmed, including Just Cause 4. So people scoffed at Just Cause 4 because, like we said, Avalanche are already so busy. But there it is. There's a leak from Walmart, and now there's a leaked advert for it on Steam, which all but confirms it. So that list of other games on Walmart's leaked kind of store listings, it looks good. It looks like we can basically say that they're all coming.
The fact that Rage 2 was confirmed like a couple of days afterwards, and that came out of the blue. Nobody would expect Rage 2, and for them to have guessed that to be right at Walmart, or whoever was supposedly faking this Walmart leak, for that to be absolutely right and bob on, just makes sense that this thing is not fake. This thing is absolutely real. Why would they put like confidential information in with some other fakes on the same webpage? They wouldn't do that. They it pretty much validates this whole thing.
So there's a Splinter Cell on there as well. There's a Gears of War 5 on there. There's just these other games that it's a safe bet that they're happening now because everything else has been proven right pretty much, including Just Cause 4. So that's where that comes in. Again, I'm really surprised at how much work Avalanche is doing, but like we've discussed, I think they're a decent sized team, and that they're not all going to be working on Rage. They're not all going to be working on Generation Zero. They're not, so they can divide that workforce out. I'm a big fan of like Mad Max. I'm a fan of Just Cause. I'm a fan of their games. Really, they're not the studio that springs to mind straight away when I think of games that I love, but I'm looking forward to their products, that's for sure. So hopefully we'll see some more stuff at E3. Now there's also Days Gone, which we know a lot about. They've just had a long month of Game Informer coverage and really in-depth stuff. But now there's a release date, February the 22nd, 2019. This is the zombie survival game, and there's a trailer that came out with that release date, which is quite a nice trailer, isn't it?
It is quite good, and you find out a little bit more about what your situation is as Deacon St. John, which is the protagonist, being chased by all the other groups now apparently, and that's quite kind of what the story trailer was about, which is cool. The release date of 22nd of February is nice as well. It's a couple of months after Red Dead Redemption, which everyone seems to be fleeing. Open world game, same kind of audience for that kind of game too. And we always like to see games, big games come in the other part of the year because they're so backloaded most of the time. So
you have a bit of there's usually like one or two big ones in January, February, and it does give you something to look forward to after Christmas. If you've got your eye on this game, then that's coming after Christmas this year. So that's Days Gone. What else have we got? Hitman 2, which is IO Interactive's big announcement after a leak on the PlayStation Store earlier this week. So they were almost like their hand was forced. But again, another big pre-E3 announcement. It's a direct sequel to 2016 Hitman. It picks up where the predecessor left off. IO says it will ditch the episodic structure of the last game, which is going to be huge news to a lot of people. Jake in the office, for example, he's a big Hitman fan, but he kind of wasn't so hot on the episodic thing. So this is suddenly a big proposition for him now. A full-on Hitman game, not broken up into episodes, which I can definitely see why that would be exciting to an old-school Hitman fan. Hitman 2 will retain the continuous content updates, though, so they will be having this service-like model coming, so more stuff added and more challenges and more events and stuff, which I think are popular, right? I think people do like that post-launch support.
Yeah, I think so. And this is a single-player game, right? You're getting a full game on purchase and not just an episodic thing, which riled people up in the first place. Yeah. Getting it this way, as well as knowing that there will be content in future, which we can assume is going to be free, but we don't know for certain. Let's hope it is for the sake of the players. Yeah. And it is an exciting prospect, that's for sure.
IO says that Hitman 2 features some of the most ambitious levels they've ever created, and there is more advanced stealth systems and stuff in place to get around. There's also a new standalone game mode called Sniper Assassin, which is kind of a co-op element, which is new to the series as far as I'm aware. Sniper Assassin is made available immediately to anyone who pre-orders the game. Hitman 2 is due to launch on PC, PS4 and Xbox One on November the 13th. A couple of others to rattle through. Paladins is coming to the Switch, and now Paladins is like an Overwatch alternative hero shooter, right? And that's a free-to-play version that's already in existence on PC, PS4 and Xbox One. Well, this is coming to the Switch on June the 12th as a $30 Founders Pack, so you buy into it now, but if you wait till summer, there'll be a free version in the summer to to play.
That'll probably coincide with the Nintendo Online, right? So they can probably finance it then through the microtransactions.
It'll be interesting to see how that works.
Because if you're offering a free game, obviously you have to make money. So they can't actually take microtransactions at the moment because Nintendo don't have the online
facilities to do it. Okay.
Which is probably why they're doing the Founders Pack for early players.
That's interesting. It's supposed to run at 60 FPS apparently, and it'll support cross-play with Xbox. So that's pretty cool news for Switch owners. Bohemia Interactive as well, teasing a new game for the Xbox. So Bohemia, of course, are the people who made the Armour military sim series and DayZ. They're teasing a new game announcement for the Xbox One, an exclusive. Details are coming on June the 11th on Inside Xbox, developed on Unreal Engine 4. This is all we know, basically. It came via Twitter. Bohemia is actually currently running a live stream on Mixer, which is just this marketing live stream thing that people like to do now. It just shows an image with nothing much on it apart from like a knife, a gun, a bit of paper, shotgun shells, and an egg timer for some reason.
Well, they're working on Islands, aren't they? Or Wylands, which looks like
that's right. Yeah,
a bit like Sea of Thieves, which is like a pirate.
Yeah, not what you'd expect from Bohemia, basically.
That's for sure. Obviously, this isn't that. We can assume that. And the fact that they're working on another game concurrently, it's news. Yeah. And it's surprising.
And then last up, we've got Fear the Wolves, which is a battle royale from some former Stalker devs. So it's actually Vostok Games now. It's a new studio, developers of Servarium. I hope I pronounced that right. They've released a cinematic trailer for this battle royale shooter. It's set in Chernobyl. It's got 100 players and doing the Stalker thing. This is where the Stalker element comes in. It's not just the other 99 players you've got to be afraid of. There's also mutant animals and stuff like that because it's set in this kind of fantasy version of Chernobyl. So they shut off the wolves in this trailer. That's the first kind of mutant animal that they've shown off. So it's trying to do something different with the Battle Royale, which I can kind of get behind. They're trying to make it even more almost like horror infused in a way, which is kind of a bit closer to what the Stalker series was. There is genuine dread and stuff in that. It's not just about shooting up and stuff. You're shooting up other players and stuff. You've got to kind of be aware and be a little bit afraid of what's around you. Here's a quote that came alongside the trailer. Roaming in packs and picking off stragglers, they have adapted to the radioactive environment and evolved into savage, decaying beasts. Now this is talking about the wolves. While on their own, they pose a mere inconvenience. A pack will drain your ammo and leave you injured or worse if you aren't careful. They're just as deadly and hostile to your enemies, and how you use that will determine your survival. So that's what I'm talking about, it being a bit more of a spin on the Battle Royale thing. What do you think of this?
Throwing some added ingredients into the Battle Royale mix is always a warm welcome, as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely.
I think, if this game's polished up enough and, it's fit for purpose and it's not buggy and unoptimized, it might take some players away from the likes of PUBG.
I think they could find a home with like some hardcore PC crowd. If they're former Stalker devs, they've got that kind of hardcore PC pedigree, and then they could, maybe find just a different audience to maybe some players who want PUBG, not Fortnite, but they want something different to PUBG now because they've been playing it for so long. So who knows? It could be a big one. It actually enters early access this summer. So that is the pre-E3 announcements, games before even E3 has started. So I'm pretty excited now. Just looking forward to what's coming up over the weekend and over the next few days. We all love video games, right? We want to see new announcements. We want to see, news and trailers and closer looks at the games we already know that are coming. I got big fingers crossed for Cyberpunk. I really want to see some more of that. And there you go. Pre-E3 announcements. Let us know what you are most looking forward to based on what we've just told you there. Anything there that catches your eye? What are you looking forward to in E3 itself? Let us know down in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Should be another video on your screens right now if you want to watch that. And a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. Thanks from myself, Mike, and Gareth Evans. We will see you next time.
Bye.